Hey again, friends. Welcome to another Daily Dub. It is Wednesday morning. I'm still in Chicago, still in my hotel room, getting ready to begin work for the day, just like yesterday. Same basic day. We've got meetings this morning and then continue through the day. So today, again, a lot of questions coming in the comments, and I think episode 2 of Daily Dub did even better than episode 1. That's awesome. This is episode 3. I hope it continues to grow. Please keep sending your questions in the comments and asking what you'd like to hear me talk about. So there's 3 things I'm going to talk about today. The first, kind of the main topic, is my thoughts on the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer that came in from Mike and Kelly from Orlando. And so I thought I'd talk about that. Now, initially, yesterday morning, I just saw the teaser, which was like an abridged version of the trailer, and then I saw the full trailer. And, if you know me, if you pay attention to the way I talk about things, I'm actually much more interested in the business side of things. I'm a businessman. I spend most of my life in analytical phases, things like that. And so there's elements to this that I think are incredibly fascinating from a business perspective. But first, I'll just talk about the trailer itself. I was not wowied by it, but I liked it. I can understand how some people may not think it's the greatest thing ever, but I think it looks like it's getting pretty good reception from social media and such like that. So the story is not clearly defined, but how could it be? I mean, they've still got Endgame yet to come. I think there's probably major plot points that are going to happen in that. They're going to influence this movie. Some of them, including a very specific scene, have leaked out that happened in this movie. I'm not going to spoil that or talk about that, but they're certainly going to shape what happens in this movie. It is definitely set after Endgame, so it is a confirmation of sorts that Spider-Man and Nick Fury will come back in some form or fashion, however they choose to handle that in Endgame. But I know Kevin Feige has confirmed that it is after Avengers. I thought Mysterio looked good. I think it's quite a time for us that consider ourselves in that genre of nerddom or whatever you want to call it, to see a full-on Mysterio in a big budget, potential $800-900 million movie completely in the fishbowl. Like, that doesn't seem like something that was ever going to come from comics to Hollywood. So it's awesome that we get to see that, and I think it looked good. I'm not sure if it has as many villains as it seems to indicate. I'm not as familiar with some of those more specific Spider-Man villains. Is that Hydro Man or whatever? Or is it Absorbing Man? Or is it illusions of things? I'm not sure. I don't know. But nonetheless, it looks good, I think. They've really doubled down on the young actors that were such a major part of Spider-Man Homecoming, in my opinion. Spider-Man Homecoming was a success not because when he had the mask on. It was a success because how good an actor Tom Holland is and the other actors and the amount of work that they did when their faces were exposed. And so I think them doubling down on that is good. Spider-Man is such a charming character when you get to know his world, and it helps him be better when he's behind the mask. So I think they're doubling down on that, which they probably should do. I think that's a wise decision. So I enjoyed it. Again, I wasn't wowed by it. I liked it better than the Captain Marvel trailer. I liked it better than the Avengers Endgame trailer. But all 3 of these are very intentionally not giving you very much story, as we've talked about, because of the nature of sitting around the Avengers movies. But if you compare them to the most recent set of trailers, you think about the very first Thor Ragnarok trailer was unbelievable. The very first Black Panther trailer was unbelievable. And the very first Avengers Infinity War was just, it blew up, right? And you compare those 3 to Endgame, Far From Home, and Captain Marvel, and I just think they're not quite to the same level of wow factor. So from the business side, you got to remember, and I think a lot of people don't remember this or may not know this, Spider-Man as a property is currently licensed by Sony. Sony has the rights to this, not Disney. So when you say MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're talking about Disney. You're talking about Disney's imprint of Marvel that is producing most of our Marvel Studios. That's Marvel Studios Pictures is owned by Disney. So every other thing that we're talking about that ties to the Marvel Universe is Disney made, except for Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, a couple years ago, they reached an agreement, Sony and Disney, that Marvel Studios would assist in producing Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and in exchange, Spider-Man would appear in Civil War and the 2 Avengers movies. That was the agreement, as I understand it. I have not read the contract. Sometimes I do go read those agreements if they're public, but I think that agreement comes to an end at the end of Far From Home. So this is distributed by Sony. It's Sony's movie, Sony's trailer, not Disney's. And so the business decision, I think, is interesting to release this. I would bet if Marvel Studios had it their way, this trailer would not have come out until Endgame happened. They have been very intentional to not want to confirm Spider-Man's alive, Nick Fury's alive, anybody. They probably don't like that, but they may not have had a choice. I also think it's interesting that this appears to be the trailer that was shown to Brazil a couple months ago, whenever that was, Brazil Comic-Con, I think. They showed this and the Avengers trailer, but they did not make the Spider-Man trailer public. My thought around that is, at the end of the trailer, it says next summer. Grammatically, that doesn't seem correct for mid-January when the movie's in 5 months, 6 months. It's not next summer, that's summer. It's the coming summer. Whereas if it was the previous year, I can see grammatically why they would use next summer. So it doesn't seem to be new. It seems to be the trailer from a few months ago, and Sony has just decided to release it. It makes sense for Sony to release it. Venom has done, close to $1 billion, if not over $1 billion. And then Into the Spider-Verse just won a Golden Globe. It's very, very well received. And Sony's quote-unquote Spider-Verse seems to be picking up traction. And so they want to promote their next Spider-Man movie and get attention to that, and as well as play off the Captain Marvel stuff and Avengers. So I think it's a good business move from Sony. I would imagine Disney would have preferred it not to be that way, but it was. So anyway, that's a little long, but that's my thoughts on that. The topic number 2, real quick. Law Stage, as well as Tyler, asked me to talk about my thoughts on the football, NFC, AFC Championships, Super Bowl, briefly around that. To me, all year, the Chiefs have been very impressive. The Rams have been very impressive. But the way the NFL has been for the last, really 20 years now, unless you have the all-star quarterback, you typically don't win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say the Saints and the Patriots are going to win. The Patriots looked incredibly impressive last week. Drew Brees and Tom Brady have both won a Super Bowl. Until someone beats those older quarterbacks finally, that's not another one of those older quarterbacks. I understand that Eli Manning's beat Brady, Joe Flacco's beat Brady. I don't know if anyone else has. That's about it. I think there's one or two others, but those are the quarterbacks. It's been the same group of quarterbacks that have been, Roethlisberger. It's been the same guys that have been close to the Super Bowl every year, and I just don't think it's going to change. So I would like to see it change. I'd love to see the Chiefs and the Rams in the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be the Saints and the Patriots until someone says otherwise. That'd be quite a thing because I think they're both 40-plus years old, so that'd be quite a thing. And then my third question is from Scott. He asked how I met David. So this is not nearly as interesting as you all might think. I've only known David for right about 10 months now. We actually met right around March. Yeah, at Toylanta of 2018 was the first time we met. We met through our buddy Adonis, who runs freshfigures.com. If you want to get figures from there, I would highly recommend it. Work with Adonis. He's a great guy. That's who we met from. And we've just only known each other 10 months, but we've gotten really close. We hang out a lot. We have a lot of things in common. I think we see the world the same way. We're very positive people. We don't do much with negativity and that type of stuff. And we've just grown close. We're really good friends. And, it's not abnormal for me to be friends with somebody in that short a period of time. I really have never met a stranger. I try to open my heart, open my mind up, and get to know everybody. So I appreciate David very much. He's one of my best friends, and that's how we met at Toylanta. So anyway, the video's gone way long. I'm going to call it now. I got to get to work. Thanks for watching this episode of Daily Dub. See you tomorrow. Squeeze it.